How did you feel about Gail telling Tommy that Ellie can't be saved
How
from
we
the path
forget
of
that?
violence?
That was disrespectful, Gail. You're rude. Like, that's not fair. I don't feel like she should have said that, especially to Tommy. It seems like Tommy is just trying to he's trying to hold together. He lost his brother. He is on a council that's overseeing a town that was just devastated by infected, and he still wants to take care of Ellie. That's basically like his niece, if anything. It's really hard, but for her to say that, I was just like, that's not fair. Like, is she that damaged? She's just...
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Most Potato Podcast. My name's Alvin.
I'm Jess.
Today, we're going to be discussing The Last of Us Ep.3. I don't even remember what this episode was called. I don't even know if we should keep track of the names, but the names usually have a meaning.
Yeah, that's true. I never do, though.
But either way, Episode 3, I actually quite really enjoyed this episode compared to last week's episode, which is really weird to say because Episode 2 is where all the action and all the heavy hitting stuff happened. And I think you love this episode too.
Like I said, I wanted more energy, more passion, more footwork. Yeah.
Yeah, so this clearly is an episode where we take a lot of time just recuperating, taking in what just happened with Joel and the town of Jackson as well. This episode could have easily been one of the most boringest things that maybe you feel that way based on your facial reaction.
Oh my god, my face. I'm just gonna cover my face for the remainder. Okay.
No, but I actually really, really enjoyed this episode, which I did not expect because they added so much emotional depth to what happened with the tragedy that befell on Jackson and with what happened with Joel. And this is something that doesn't really take place in the game. You just kind of get sent off at some point, just trekking on this mission of revenge. So I really like that the show really just took its time to really just sit with the townspeople and really just see the result of what happened with all the infected, damaging everything and everybody. That scene with the morgue, that woman that was cleaning up Joel's hand, she looked like I couldn't tell if she was used to this job or if she's someone that is not specifically a mortician, but someone that takes rotational shifts, because we've seen townspeople just take shifts for different kinds of work.
Yeah.
So she looked pretty damaged, just cleaning up this dude's hand. I don't know if she had a personal relationship to Joel, but she looked defeated.
Yeah, I think most of the town people were defeated because that shot where you see all the infected just laying there dead, the damage done. Then we go straight to the morgue.
It looked like hell. It looked like a scene straight out of hell.
Yeah, it looked
with the coloring.
Really. I was just like, this is just terrible. And I know amongst the bodies, once you get past the gate, there are the people of Jackson who are either injured or killed. And then we come into this morgue. This woman's wiping down somebody, and then you just see the watch. And I was just like,
rest in peace, Jolie.
Yeah. And then Tommy walks in too. I was tearing up.
She made a very smart comment. I think you should have done your makeup after the episode rather than before.
I know.
She was over here sitting next to me
I know. I wasn't expecting to feel so emotional, but Tommy really
sold it.
He sold it. Yeah. And
you didn't have to say much. It was his face.
It was just his face and him looking at the watch. I'm looking at the watch. We looking at the watch. And
send my love to Sarah.
I know. It was intense. And we cut to a hospital, which I was so confused. I thought it was a flashback of something.
Before the pandemic.
Yes. I thought something. I was just so confused, but I was like, oh wow, they even have a hospital running.
Fully running.
It looks like the Pit or something. Not but yeah.
Shout out to the Pit. Great show.
Great show. Yes. Ellie, we see her. She wakes up and then I start crying some more because...
Dude, the PTSD just strikes immediately.
Strikes immediately. We just cut back to the scene of Abby killing Joel and Ellie, the screams, that really got me.
Yeah.
And then it was cut. They put her back to sleep and...
3 months later.
Insane.
I
didn't like that.
Really? Okay, talk to me about that. Talk to me
I
about
don't know.
that.
I wasn't expecting to like stay in this like moment, like the aftermath for like so long, but I think I needed like a little bit more, because at the end of the previous episode, we see Tommy, he looks distraught and like broken down, which is like, okay, I understand that. I mean, look at what just happened to our town. But you had mentioned, or you had said, what if his son died, Tommy's son? And I was just like, why are they gonna kill a little boy for? That don't make no sense. And then I was just like, if they did do that, because I was looking, I was like, why does Tommy look so like broken? I was just like, oh shoot, did Jesse like radio that, you know, Joel is dead? And that's when I clicked for me. I was like, maybe that's what happened in that moment, that he was told that Joel was dead. But yeah, I kind of wanted to go back to that scene, like maybe like some talk on the radio of like what's going on, like is Joel coming back?
See his immediate response to the news.
Yeah, because then we just get this, we get Ellie, and then it's 3 months later, the town's looking, you know.
You wanted to sit with Tommy's pain more?
Maybe. Does that make me a bad person? I don't know. I felt like I needed a little bit more of that, because all that stuff happened so fast. And then we see what Jesse and Ellie and Dina coming back and Joel's body being dragged behind. It just wasn't enough for me. I needed to know like what they're feeling. But then it's like 3 months later, everybody's coping, trying to rebuild, trying to, you know, move on. They already buried everybody 10 miles out. I needed more. Now we're here at the council talking about, oh, should we send a group of 16 to avenge Joel? I don't know. I wanted to hurt a little bit more, I guess.
I don't know. You got pretty wet in the face before. I don't know if you could handle more.
I couldn't. You touch up the makeup. It's fine. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just wanted a little bit more of that, because everything just started to happen so quickly. We're voting, and we're getting shot down, and then I know what's to come based off of watching you play the games. And you mentioned a lot of times like, oh, this is different. You kept saying that through that
oh, this is different. This is new. Oh wow, I like this.
Yeah, which is like, that's good. But I was also just like, when we getting out there, like, you know, I think I just know like key points, like when you played, that were just like the highest points in the game, and I was just waiting for those to happen at this point. And
yeah,
I did appreciate a lot of it. And I like the scene of the 3 months after, where Ellie goes back to the house, and she's walking around the house, and it seems so big.
Oh my God, huge. Yeah. It's so empty and lonely.
And she's small too. So like she's tiny, and Joel's like, what, 6 feet? And I'm pretty sure he took up a lot of room, but it was just like, I was like, yeah, let's hurt. Let's be sad.
Yeah. And that's why I feel the total opposite of you. I felt like we got plenty to eat from with people's pain. I mean, they could have sat with it more for sure, especially like the immediate aftermath with Tommy getting the news of his brother dying for sure. For me, it felt like a lot, because in the game, it's fairly different. You get a bit of back and forth with Ellie and Tommy, and saying like, no, I'm going to go out there right now. And Tommy's like, hold on, just let me do something first before you go out there. But then soon after, the game starts with your journey. So in the game, this really doesn't happen. We don't get to see the life in the town reeling from this event, reeling from the loss of Joel, from the loss of so many people in that town. Mainly because the attack on Jackson doesn't happen in the game. So I actually really appreciated how we sat with everybody 3 months later. I was kind of shook. I was like, wait, Ellie sat around for 3 months? Like, I'm shook that she didn't go out and try to search for these people. But they did this clever thing where they showed that Dina had been withholding that information to try to protect Ellie, because she knew she was just gonna go like,
she's like, I knew you were gonna pull out your tubes and your needles and just
I like how she described it, because that sounds like an Ellie for sure. That's an Ellie move. So I really like what you mentioned, the scene at the house, at Joel's house, where you have Dina and Ellie just sitting at the table. And Dina just prepares for the worst. Like, I got you cookies because I'm about to piss you off real quick. I know who these people are. I know about the WLF. Let's talk about a strategy first before you go flying out there. And it, also being in that house really made me think about how lonely it must have been for Joel.
Oh yeah,
staying there, having no company there. Like
when she was walking around the house and she went to her room and like the mattress is gone, everything's just like left in a mess. I was just like, you see? I was like, this is what Joel had to walk by every day that you weren't talking to him. And I'm like, I'm not trying to make her feel bad. But in that moment, that was the first thing I thought was just like, man, this is a
lonely looking place.
Yeah, it's really lonely. And even more so now that he's gone. And I felt like that kind of crossed her mind too, was just like, this is what he was seeing every day. And you know, the last conversation that they did have and they held that was
at the New Year's Eve party.
Yeah, at the New Year's Eve party. And I was just like, damn, Ellie. Just damn.
That scene of her crying into Joel's jacket.
Yes.
Perfection.
I was crying more. It was just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I got to say is I need to stop seeing people hate on Ellie. Like all these grown ass men that are talking shit about Ellie, like being portrayed by Bella Ramsey right now. I need the hate to fucking stop because they have proven themselves as a fantastic actor filling in the role for Ellie in season 1. In season 2, I'm seeing the growth. I'm seeing that there's still that immaturity from the 14-year-old.
Yeah.
But you also see Ellie as a 19-year-old. You see more of this person as becoming an adult and not knowing what to do moving forward with this whole thing that's happening. And just like the way that Ellie acts, like all these subtle movements with like her face and like the body movements, it just feels like somebody transitioning into adulthood and dealing with such a tremendous loss and not knowing what to do with that, other than just going forward with anger and going for revenge. Even the way that Ellie dresses reminds me a lot of like how Tess looks.
Yes.
Ellie likes to wear like a lot of like long sleeve, like button shirts. She has like her hair tied in like a half bun, a lot like what Tess used to look like. So like people were complaining how like Ellie didn't have the exact same look, like the same body stature, the same haircut, and it's like
it's really stupid. I saw like a post.
They're still paying attention to details in this show.
There was a post where they like photoshopped the game Ellie's hair onto Bella Ramsey, and I was
insane.
It looked really stupid, guys. It looked stupid. I really can't understand. It's not going to be exactly like the game. If that was the case, we would not have the show.
None of the characters really look exactly like their characters, except maybe Jesse. He looks like a spitting image, just less of a mullet.
Yeah, like this Ellie, she's perfect for the show. She's perfect for the show. The Ellie in the game is the Ellie in the game, and that's what she does. And this one is perfectly fine too. Yeah. I get over it. It's stupid, but yeah, no, I think. I like the way she looks. I feel like I can believe that Ellie looks a little older.
Yeah, there is mature. A difference.
I love seeing Ellie like boxing and working out, getting stronger. Like
I don't look like a 14-year-old.
I'm like she is Abby. Like she's the Abby now because Abby don't stand a chance. Like you see the way Ellie looks built now.
Yeah, she's vicious. And that comment that Jesse made saying like, for someone that's been sitting on their ass for 3 months, I'm actually very impressed that you're this strong already. That's just pure rage willing her. So everything that we've seen with Ellie just kind of mentally recovering or trying to mentally recover from the attack was really good. I really like how she tried to bypass Gale, just like saying like all the things that she should be saying like, yeah, I'm upset about Joel and stuff, but I think I can move on now. So can you please just let me go? And then Gale just legit just like, yeah, just go.
Just go. Yeah, there's nothing you're going to say to this girl right now.
Yeah, the council meeting was really good too. I actually really like that they took the time to show people's opinions and perspectives on what to do
about corn.
The corn guy.
It's corn. Yes.
I don't know why he was so fixated on the corn. You barely get any nutritional value off of it.
But it's nice. It's good.
It is sweet.
I wonder
like
how the corn kid's doing.
Yeah. But the council meeting was one of the most interesting scenes I've seen. I really love when they show how this town functions. And there was tension built into it. I almost believed that the council members were going to vote for Ellie's favor to send 16 people out. I was almost convinced. I played the game, so I know that wasn't going to happen.
Okay.
This moment doesn't happen in the game, but it's like the show's not going to add 16 people to the...
They could have said yes, and then the people were like back down. You're like, you know what, Ellie? This is not... I don't think I will, you know?
Yeah. But I really like seeing people's different perspectives. You had someone who said that, you know, we should forgive these people because it it's just the right thing to do.
Oh yeah, I thought he was on our side, and I was just like, sit your ass back down.
He even mentions like, I'm not Christian, but I believe in that rule of like just forgive and be forgiven so that you can move on with your life. And then we also had the woman who was almost like convincing us that she was going to vote for like, yeah, send a party out for Joel. But she also made a convincing argument. It's like, well, you're going to leave us vulnerable if you send 16 of your best out there.
Yeah.
What if raiders come? So I love that this is basically like a very meta conversation. Like the fandom already has conversations of like, should you go out revenge for Joel? Like it just feels like that moment where fans continue to argue about it to this day. And now it's being placed here with characters in this story. And I was shook when Seth was one of the few people I was just like, we should get our revenge.
I was like, go Bart Bass. I was like, Bass. Is he still trying to like apologize? But I was like, no, he actually feels this way. Yeah. Like he's just an angry man. But no, I was surprised. I was like, what? Yeah. But then I saw him and the camera was like panning over there. I was just like, he gonna say something? And then even Ellie was just like, sir.
She was shook. She was like, of all people, why are you vouching for me?
Yeah, but I like what he said for the most part. I thought it was really funny. I like agreed with him mostly, and then like at the very end when he's just like, yeah, you guys want to be victims. I was just like, okay, like chill. Look what you got shot in the leg or something. You got a cane now. You didn't have that. You're a victim too, sir. Yeah, so like chill. But I liked after that when Ellie spoke and she pulled out her little paper, her speech.
Yes.
I did like that. I know Gail said she's a liar. And I was like, Gail, I believed her. She's not lying. Like, I believed her. I feel like she said that, like, probably to get what she wants. But
well, she made a very convincing argument. It was very well written.
I thought, for me, I was just like, this is what Jackson is. At least that's what I see it as. That's what's been presented to me. And I feel like, yeah, don't you guys stand up for each other? You guys work together. You guys all have different parts to play in keeping this place running, keeping it growing. So, I mean, maybe that's what was sold to her. Maybe that's what Maria sold her a couple years back and she just put it in a letter. I don't know. But I was just like, yeah, we gonna fight for each other. And then Gail called her a liar and I felt stupid.
Though I do think it was very smartly written, and I think it was good for her to take Jesse's advice. Jesse was very, very, I love how like different people come in different like perspectives of how to help Ellie to get what she needs or wants. Jesse is very much trying to play by the rules. He really is very political about this, but he's also trying to watch out for his friends as well. It's like, listen, if you want to get what you want, the council's not going to listen to anger and vengeance and just pure hatred. You really need to sell this. So he did a really good job, like actually making her more diplomatic about this, because she almost got like a good amount of votes from the council members. If she had just went off the dome, I don't think she would have gotten any yeses, because she's very raw and it's very like valid and it's totally understandable. But this is a political decision at the end of the day. You got to convince people why this is a good decision to make. Like that's a lot to ask for, to send 16 of like your best defenders leaving the place vulnerable. So Ellie made a smart move trying to write it out as like, oh, we have to do this for the people of Jackson. But I get where Gail's coming from, because obviously I know what transpires in the game, but you can also tell that Ellie is saying these words, but she doesn't fully believe them herself. She's trying to hide the fact that it is personal for her. It is for vengeance. Even though she says, no, it's not for revenge. I want justice. Those two words tend to get conflated with each other. They tend to be interchangeable. It's like, what exactly does justice look for you? Because going back and killing other people is really just revenge. I don't know how that justice and revenge is like, those are two totally different things. And then with Seth, he straight up just says like, yeah, no, we should get revenge. We should straight up just get our vengeance.
He said,
why not?
Let them know not to play with us. That's what he said.
Which is kind of a convincing argument, because I feel like he could have dug in further and argued like, what if these people do come back? Like, what if they come back with more people? What if they come back with an army next time? This was just a couple of individuals.
Yeah.
So there's a valid argument for going after these people, because at the end of the day, nobody knows why these people went after Joel.
That's true.
That is the big question hanging in the air for everyone, and only Ellie's really gonna know by the end of this story that it's all based on his decision to save Ellie, and that secret is still not out. Like, nobody knows what Joel did. I have no idea if Tommy knows. Like, in this iteration, I have no idea if Joel ever told Tommy what really happened at the hospital. So there's a lot at stake. It's like when you have something like an attack like that happen, and then they just move away. That's a very suspicious thing. So
Ellie doesn't know everything from that day.
That is a video game spoiler. I will not answer that question. Okay. Because that is something that may or may not get revealed in the story.
Okay.
So
because I'm just confused as to,
because you yourself don't know how much Ellie knows about the event that happened.
There was a conversation right after they did the 3 months thing with her and Gail, and Gail was just like, "Oh, Joel said he wronged you." And
because he saved you.
And I was just like, I'm confused. Now I'm like, why is Ellie mad at him? Like, what does she know? What did he say? What did they talk about?
I think Ellie knows what Joel meant when he said I saved her. I think she understands the context of that, because she's suspicious of what happened of that day.
Okay.
She's aware that it's like something's off about what you said. I don't think you're telling me the truth. So she knows that there's a connection there, but it's not revealed how much she actually knows based off of that one answer that Joel gave to the therapist. Okay. That's something that we have to uncover along the journey of this show. Yeah. So everybody trying to plead their case for going for or against sending a party to avenge Joel. I thought that was a really fantastic scene. That was probably my favorite thing that happened this episode, because I think it just raises the stakes more, and it makes the question more interesting to discuss when you have other people involved, and that this affects other people too.
Yeah.
Ellie's decision to go after these people can definitely affect the safety of Jackson. Does it make it better? Does it make it worse for Jackson? Who knows? So I love that they had this moment, because it isn't just to pad the runtime. They're adding more context and more consequences and more meaning to Ellie's decision to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go out there. Since you guys are gonna vote no against me, fine, I was gonna do this anyways.
Yeah.
So I really like that moment, and the fact that Seth, of all people, is the one that supports Ellie's decision is so funny. And it really made me think, because later on he's the one that provides Shimmer and all the equipment, all the paraphernalia that they need to sneak out. And when they shook hands, I was like, my people. Look at them coming together. Cause
oh my goodness.
Even though I'm back and forth on the decision of revenge, I'm just like, it's kind of nice to see people of different backgrounds really coming together on a decision that's very, very important and very morally questionable and gray. Because I don't know, when Seth made that apology in the previous episodes, episode 1, I think he was fairly genuine about his apology. I didn't feel like just Maria forcing him to do it. When he said I also shouldn't have thought what I said. I think that's a deeper level to an apology than just saying I'm sorry about what I said.
Yeah.
Because you could just leave it at that, and it's just well, Ellie calls him out, and it's just well, yeah, you could not say something, but you could still be a terrible person and think terrible things.
Yeah.
So I like that they added that little extra apology of yes, and I shouldn't have thought that either, and I'm sorry about that. Because their dynamic is more fleshed out in this show. It's really not touched on that much in the game, and it's kind of a mini microcosm of the theme of is it worth forgiving people that you see as your enemy?
Yeah.
How did you feel about Seth by the end of this episode? Do you still just straight up hate him? I kind of have hope that he might change to be better.
I mean,
he's taking some steps, I think.
I think I can appreciate that they have written a character that can take those steps.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% behind him, because I feel like as much as he's backing Ellie, he still has his views. I'll call it that, his way of thinking, this mentality maybe.
Yeah, his bigotry.
And yeah, I'm not 100% behind him, but I do appreciate that he's taking the steps. I wonder what Maria said to him. She probably whooped his ass or something, or just cussed him out. But I do like that they wrote a character that can take those steps, and it makes you really see what the community of Jackson is. Not everybody's gonna like each other, and not everybody's gonna agree on each other.
Yeah.
But they all have to work together. Look, he's in the kitchen, making
some
food.
steak sandwiches.
Yeah, making food for people. And it's just like you all have to chip in, and you guys don't have to be best friends. You don't have to, but you guys also need to be a part of the community and help the community thrive and help each other. So that's what I see him as. Thanks. Thanks for the shimmer. Thanks for the upgrade of weapons.
I think I'm more aligned with what you're thinking too. Like I'm not fully on board with like, oh, I like Seth now. But that's because he's someone that's taking steps to get to be like a better person. I don't think we'll ever know if he'll ever be cured of his homophobia and change his ways. There are people that have completely like done a 180 in real life. He seems like the kind of character that could possibly do that. I mean, he really didn't have to help Ellie. I mean, he has his own personal stake in this as well. But I think that, and compounded with his apology to Ellie, he seems like a character that understands the priorities. It's like, I may not like everyone here, but we, like you said, we need to be in community. We need to work together because otherwise we're just doomed.
Yeah.
And I wish we had more people like that in our reality, like today, when things are affecting both very, very, like, I would say woke people and then the very just ignorant, like bigoted people. Like, there's so much stuff that's affecting us like equally, and then we're just not meeting eye to eye to be like, listen, we gotta take out a common enemy right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe we need like a zombie apocalypse, but it'd only get worse. So let's just.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that could fully fix things. But I thought that was a really great moment. I did not expect them to further flesh out Seth in this show and that dynamic with Ellie. I thought that was really cool. I also really appreciate that we got an early introduction to, I'll refer to them as the cult. The group of people with the scars on their faces, because they don't reveal the name of this group yet, so I guess I won't say it right now. But I really like the introduction of this group because it happened very early on in the show. It takes a while before you meet these people in the game, and you see that they're a community as well. You see like this father and daughter duo happening. I thought there was going to be like a parallel to like Joel and Ellie, like them two surviving. And
not surviving.
Yeah, and then not surviving.
Sorry, guys. That was too soon.
I did not expect to see all those people cleared out by the WLF.
So it was them?
It is them. It has to be them because we see the ending shot of like this giant military walking down like in Seattle.
But what would be the purpose of them doing that?
So these two people are warring factions. So remember the guy, the father that was walking with the daughter, he said that we're saving you from war. He mentions that passing line. He doesn't mention with who.
Okay.
And then we see the ending shot with Manny saying like, yeah, zones 1 and 3 are clear or whatever he said. And you see an entire military with the same letters as the patches that say WLF. That's who they're up against. So these are two groups of people that are at war with each other. We don't know why or what, at least not yet in the show. But those are the people that those cult members were up against. So a bunch of people with hammers and sticks and crossbows against an entire military with working tanks.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the scene where Ellie and Dina came upon those bodies?
I don't know. I thought the guy was faking. Like in last season when the kid came out, he's like, help, I'm injured, and Joel's just like, I'm gonna run him over. Ellie's like, what are you doing, Joel? I thought it was something like that, and then I was just like, wait.
But then you saw how blue his skin was. You can't fake that.
I was just like, I don't know, y'all doing a lot with the paint like PETA and stuff. Yeah, no, I was surprised to see like all of them wiped out like that, and then I was just like, oh no, I was like, where's the little girl and her dad? And it was everybody.
She was clutching on to that hammer too.
Yeah,
so it was no protection.
And so what is it? Dina and Ellie were just like, if this is what Abby and her group did, like now we definitely got to kill him. I was just like, yeah, but like let's just focus on getting to Abby. Like let's just focus on not getting this happen to you guys too. Like yeah, because it was just straight. You saw the case shells of the guns just everywhere, and I was just like, these people didn't stand a chance. So
and they were from different kinds of guns is what Ellie said.
And I'm like, you guys need to be careful. Like you're just on a horse. Dina got this bright ass jacket on, and like, yeah. So I was like, I started to feel like the tension as they got closer, because they were like, oh, 9 more miles to Seattle, happen upon this, and then they keep going, and it was intense. Yeah. And I was like, what are they going to be greeted with? Is somebody going to be like watching them as they enter this area. How are they going to get in? Because once they get to that highway, it's just blocked with cars. And I know, like, when you were playing, like, the horse is literally, like, in the most random places that they were just walking through. I was like, how is there, like, a clear path with, like, all the growth and the abandoned cars and whatever else this group has set up in this area?
How did you feel about Gale telling Tommy that Ellie can't be saved
from
the path of violence?
That was disrespectful, Gale. You're rude. Like, like...
That was kind of blunt. I mean, but I also can't blame her for the way that she talks. She legit says, listen, I'm an alcoholic. I smoke a lot of weed. You're asking me how I cope with things. There's no other therapist. She confirmed. She answered my question. I know
you were thinking, you were like, is she the only one? She's like, this therapist needs a therapist. And I was like, there ain't nobody else but her. So,
God.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like that's not fair. I don't feel like she should have said that, especially to Tommy. It seems like Tommy is just trying to, like, he's trying to hold together. He lost his brother. He is on a council that's, like, you know, overseeing a town that was just devastated by infected, and he still wants to take care of Ellie, like, you know, that's basically like his niece, if anything. It's like, it's really hard, but for her to say that, I was just like, that's not fair. Like, is she that damaged? She's just a girl that lost her father. Like, she really just lost her father in the most brutal way possible. You already knew how she was when Joel was here. She has some growing to do. There's going to be, like, a lot of changes for her ahead, I'm sure.
It is a pretty brutal thing to say, but there is past evidence that kind of shows us that Ellie is more inclined to violence than negotiating and talking with problems. Like, as early as season 1, when she saw Joel killing somebody in front of her for the first time,
bring that up, yeah.
She looked like turned on by that. She looked activated, like, whoa, this is amazing. Like, somebody would do this for me. And then just how she handled things as a member of the Fedra soldiers, where she would get into physical fights all the time, validly so, because she sometimes got picked on by bigger people. And then also by the end of season 1, she's totally different. She commits the most violent act to defend herself from David,
that's true,
the creepy cult leader. So, and when Gale mentions that Joel and Ellie have been walking side by side on this path, he didn't set her on this path. She was already kind of like this beforehand.
Yeah.
She says some truth about that. She does have an inclination for violence, and but that also doesn't mean that she is, like, beyond saving. Like, that doesn't mean that she can't change. She's 19. She's in a community full of people. There's still a chance for her to make decisions.
And I see changes in her. Like, even if she's
like her interaction with Seth.
Yeah, the interaction with Seth, her actually writing down her, like, what she wants to say.
Yeah.
Like, maybe she's just doing it to get what she wants, but she's trying. She stopped and she's like, okay, maybe I should do this to get what I want. And maybe just her doing it, even if it's a means to an end, it'll show her, like, oh, wow, this actually worked, or it could have worked. People listen to me.
Yeah.
So I feel like there is room for her to grow. She will grow. She's gonna go through a lot of things and make a lot of mistakes for her to realize that, you know, the things that she's doing isn't how she should have proceeded, but that's still growth.
Yeah.
In the end, it's still growth. It's gonna be messy. It's gonna be heartbreaking. She's gonna not be able to take back a lot of things, but it's still gonna be growth. She just did it the hard way.
Yeah, and I love, this is really great writing, I think, on Craig Mazin's part and Neil Druckmann, just planting these seeds of, like, ooh, Ellie's trying different methods of how to get what she needs or wants, not always turning to just, like, pure passion and anger and violence.
Yeah.
I think those moments, they add up to something of, like, her being more conflicted when she ultimately meets Abby and what decisions she'll make then. I love that they're just planting these little seeds with these things that seem inconsequential and unimportant. But like you mentioned, like, she's trying out different methods to solve problems. Whether she wants to or not, she can see that there's different results that can come from that. And I hope that they continue to keep, like, letting Ellie make decisions like that as she moves forward with this journey. Ultimately, it'll lead up to, like, a really hard decision once she meets Abby. I thought that was really cool. I like that conversation with Gale and Tommy, even though Gale was low-key out of pocket saying, like, yeah, she can't be saved. You can't save them all.
Yeah, I think she's just sick and tired of Joel. She's sick and tired of Joel's adoptive daughter. Like, she's just sick and tired.
Which is understandable. Like, when you're a therapist in just the regular world, there's so many frustrations that you'll have with certain patients when you know you can't help everybody. There will be people that would just reject what you give them, regardless of how much advice you give them. And for her to be the only one to do this, and her only coping mechanism is substances, because she can't talk to somebody, God, she just got the whole weight of the town on her. Like, I hope she don't do something to hurt herself. I hope she has a good life. So I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for this woman, man, because I can't fully blame her for saying something that out of pocket. So those are all our thoughts on The Last of Us episode 3. Right? 3. Yes. 3.
Yes.
Let us know all your thoughts in the comments. We want to know all your questions, all your theories, all your inputs. Should we go after Joel's killers? Are there good reasons to not go after them? Have a very peaceful, calm debate. Don't
you want revenge? We gonna have revenge in these comments.
Don't find revenge in the comments. Let us know all your thoughts, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, hit notification bells. Share this with your friends, your neighbors, your enemies, your clickers, all that good stuff. And we shall catch you guys on the next one. Peace.